Welcome guys and gals back to the channel, and today we're going to talk about the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs season review 2023. And this was the club that just kept on giving news after news after news. Yes, indeed, it was all over the show, from Cameron Ciraldo being too tough on the players, mental health issues, Kikau injured, Luke Thompson injured, player drain, absolutely just Matt Burton, did he deliver? Tevita Pangai Jr out the door. Kyle Flanagan just continues to struggle. They brought in Toby Sexton. I mean, it just kept it going on and on and on. And was Reid Mahoney didn't really do much in attack. So really it was just one of those seasons they like to forget. But let's get to it. The Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs season review in 2023. Well, let's start it off. What happened to them? Well, they ended up 15th. But I think everyone just about agrees this was a season that probably was a wooden spoon season. They were probably just lucky they started the season well enough so they didn't get the wooden spoon, because they finished absolute flop. Absolute flop. And we're the worst defensive team in the comp at the end of the season, with average 32 points a game. Absolutely atrocious. For 18%. I mean 18%. 18. So for and against 4, they only got 18 throughout the whole season on average. So not good enough at this level, unless you're going to only going to let in 12 points, and then we'll be fine. But no, not good enough. The completion rate was 75%. Let's have a look. Top tacklers, Reid Mahoney. So he did his tackles in 223, 986, but didn't lead to much attacking flair from Reid Mahoney. But was that his fault, or was it the Sevens' fault? I mean, they had to change this all the time, and it ended up being Matt Burton. And Matt Burton was top point scorer, 138, which is not enough to be making the finals. The top try scorer was Jake Averillo. But yes, one of those itchy seasons here for the Bankstown Bulldogs. But where did it all go wrong? Was it the signing of Cameron Ciraldo for 5 years? Did it go wrong right there and then? Who signs 5-year contracts in this day and age? It's just craziness for a rookie coach. That's absolute rookie mistake. It might work out to be all right in the end, but if it doesn't work out, you're dragged to pay this guy out. So it's going to be interesting to see if Cameron Ciraldo can turn this club around, or was he the right move? Was Trent Barrett even a better option, and just give him a bit more time? When they start to just turn it around, it just seems to me they just have to stick with the coach. I honestly thought they should have stuck with Dean Pay, and they would already be out of this situation already, because they were playing a lot better football for Dean Pay than they were for any other. So this is just something to think about. I thought, yeah, they played their best footy under Dean Pay after the obviously Des Haslam miss. I thought Dean Pay was very good for them, but they've continued to just roll the coaches, and it just gets worse and worse and worse. So they need to do something about it. Can Cameron Ciraldo turn it around? Well, we will see if he can turn it around. It's going to be interesting. I believe Jason Taylor's a chance to go in there, so we will see how that all plays out, see if that helps the club or not. We will find out. We'll see. Is Ciraldo too old school? That's the question mark. They had a player go down with mental health, having to wrestle the whole team. Now, I remember watching a documentary about Matthew Ridge going from the All Blacks to Manly Seagulls, and they were doing the same stuff back then, so it hasn't changed. Do they have to get with the times? You could argue maybe they do, but then at that top level, you have to be hard-nosed. That's the big thing. Most of the players are really tough at their level. There is a bit of a change in society, though, with the players getting a bit more not as tough and hardened as they used to be. So that's something coaches have to work on, and maybe Ciraldo is a bit too strong on some players. That's probably just a question. But the same with Michael Maguire and a lot of players out there. So where someone like Craig Bellamy seems to just get the balance right. He can go hard when he wants to, but really deep down, he really seems to care for you and gets that approach across. Where I think some coaches go too hard, too early, and too consistently, and they just burn the candle at the other end. Whether Ciraldo can calm that down and be more improved, we will see. But obviously, there was a lot of issues around the club. Obviously, Luke Thompson was injured from day dot and only played a couple of games at the end of the season. Filiami Kikau went out very quickly. And then it just keep getting worse and worse and worse, and the players just keep getting injured. It was just one of those seasons they would like to forget. Wow. Let's try and work out some positives here. Jacob Preston, obviously a positive out of the club. He was outstanding. Very good. He really took the leap of faith. Jacob Carraz went to another level in 2023. He was one of their better players. Addo-Carr at times was a lot better than his first season. But he just it just seemed to be stagnated down the middle. I mean, Reid Mahoney was quite. Matt Burton ended up being pushed to 7, but like they couldn't get it out of Flanagan. They couldn't get it out of young Carl. So and then Toby Sexton come and just continued to be just as bad. So but obviously they had a bit of an injury list going into that, so that didn't help the cause in it. But let's just pay tribute to Josh Reynolds. Was he up to the standard to play in 2023? In my opinion, not. And I was at the game against the Rabbitohs. He really was pretty poor in that game. But you got to remember what he did earlier in his career. He was very good back when Des Hasler was the coach. I'm not going to say he wasn't. He was very good. He played for New South Wales. He was one of the key players back then. Obviously, going away to the West Tigers, it went pear-shaped. Well, I think it's because he wasn't really happy there. He went to the Super League. I think he always wanted to be at the Bulldogs, but never got the opportunity to stay there. With the change of coaches all around the place. His form may dropped a bit. But yes, he is a fan favourite, so we have to salute you, Josh Reynolds, for a great career for the Bulldogs, but just didn't quite get the premiership that he would have thoroughly deserved. But yes, Kyle Flanagan now off to the Dragons. There's question marks. Is he a 7? Is he a number 9 maybe? Maybe that's where he's going to play next season. I don't know. What if Shane Flanagan can't get the best out of him, I think that this will be curtains for his career in the NRL if he cannot get up for this. Toby Sexton. Who's the answer at 7? That's the answer you got to ask the Bulldogs. Who is the answer? I don't think it's Matt Burton. Does Matt Burton go back to centre? Steve Crichton, where does he fit into the side? Does he go at centre? Do you have a killing centres? But then the question mark is, will they get the ball? Because then you could put Blake Taff at fullback. So then that means Jamin Salmon at 6. And then Toby Sexton at 7. Now, that's the thing. At the end of the day, it's the halves that is killing them. So do you weaken one position and strengthen others? It's a very tough selection process. If they could have got a Ben Hunt, they would solve everything. I think Matt Burton could either stay at 6 or go back to centre, and then you'd be happy days. But yeah, the Bulldogs have got a few itchy heads. Obviously, Crichton can play fullback, of course. I'm not sure where the pieces of the puzzle are going to happen there, but it's a lot of thinking to do for the Bulldogs. Obviously, Tevita Pangai Jr has gone as well. Out the door. See you later. Hart wasn't in it. I wouldn't be stunned if he's back next season or the season after. But yeah, if we look at the season as a whole, they started off well against the Storm and the Tigers and the Cowboys. They got 3 wins out of the first 5, but it was pretty much a false dawn. It all went to chaos after that. And some losses, 66-0 to the Knights. That was absolutely catastrophic. But the game I remember, as I was mentioned a little bit earlier, against the Rabbitohs at home, they were absolutely carved up, absolutely smashed by 50 points in the end of the second half. Campbell Graham was absolutely outstanding that game. Cody Walker had it on the string. This is when the Rabbitohs were high-flying, and Rabbitohs definitely could have been the team that could have beaten Penrith this season, but it just fell off a cliff after that. The star players went missing. Mitchell was injured. Very much issues for Rabbitohs. Obviously, I'll talk about that when we get to them. But the Bulldogs, yeah, the infighting has to stop. I don't know. They really need to stop that infighting. They really need to work on some stuff here. Reid Mahoney needs to go to another level. Can he go to another level? Does Jacob Carraz play fullback? There's another option there. Do you play him at fullback, which gives the chance for Crichton and Burton in the centres? I see that as a brilliant pairing. But then you've got to get the halves. That's going to be the thing. I think Sexton can do enough to develop in the middle. So can Carl go to that other level? There's probably the only question mark they have, because the Bulldogs are definitely a team. And, well, let's get to the big point here. The Bulldogs, absolute F for me. they were the worst team in 2023 in my opinion. They might not have ended up last, but if you look at the overall games, to me, even though they might have won a couple more than the Tigers, I thought the Bulldogs were the worst team in the comp in 2023. They really need to turn it around in 2024. Something has to give. It's either going to be Cameron Ciraldo who's gone, or the Bulldogs are going to be in despair for a long time. So Ciraldo will need to turn it around. The social media clang of 2024 Premiership, I don't see it happening. I don't see a top 8 happening either. But I do see an improvement. Crichton will improve this team. I think they could be bottom 8 material. I mean, like 8th, probably more 12th is probably where I see them. Maybe a little bit higher. I just think they've got enough class in their team with Crichton and Burton. If those two can fly, Jacob Carraz goes to another level again. Reid Mahoney bounces back to his best. There's enough talent in their team to get it done. They could need another forward. James Salmon as well. Obviously, he's probably going to be number 6, so he gets a chance, or at least 14. So there's some chances for players to step up if they exceed expectations. James Salmon expects. Then the Bulldogs could push for an 8th spot, but for them to win the Premiership 2024, it ain't happening for me. But anyway, thank you for joining me. That is the Barry Charles Footy Show, and I'll be back to talk about some of the other teams all the way up to the number 1 Penrith. So have a great day out there. Remember to like and subscribe to the channel.